Good evening, everybody. If you can hear me, I would request you for two things. One is to keep your microphones on mute till you're asked to unmute. And the second, it would be great if you can turn on your cameras. We will have a great time interacting if we can see real faces. Thank you so much, Deepika ma'am, for turning on your camera. We really appreciate that.
Hello. Good
Hello,
evening. So
ma'am.
sorry, I have not dressed up properly, but I have turned on the camera
Ma'am, we really
just to
appreciate
create
it.
positive vibe.
Ma'am, we really appreciate it. And positive vibe is a one of the main parameters. In fact, right before we came to this meeting, me and Anisha ma'am, we were having a conversation, and positive vibes was one of those topics that we were talking about. So, if you've had the privilege of ever walking into IDC School of Design at IIT Bombay, that's one term that you will definitely associate with. But on that note, I welcome one and all. I welcome everybody to this session. Macmillan Education is really proud to come up with a series of webinars for Macmillan budding scientists. And most of you, I am able to recognize the names because you have been previous participants in Macmillan budding scientists, and it's because of your passion, your dedication, and uh, your tryst to ignite curiosity amongst young children. That drive is rubbed onto us as well, and therefore we wanted to have a series of interesting webinars under Macmillan Budding Scientist, which aims at igniting curiosity amongst your students and which aims to aid you to ignite curiosity amongst your children as well. So, on that note, I am extremely proud and excited to introduce Professor Anisha Malhotra from IDC School of Design, IIT Bombay. Now, I'm going to just read out a little bit about her so that you get to know a little more about her before she starts her webinar. Uh, Professor Malhotra, she's an alumni of National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, and where she pursued her master's degree in information design. Her work emphasizes play based pedagogies and student centric education. She earned her PhD in design from IDC School of Design at IIT Bombay, and her doctoral research delved into how collaboration guides design thinking amongst young learners. She furthered her research as a postdoctoral fellow at Homi Bhabha Center of Science Education, TIFR Bombay. During her fellowship, she focused on developing active learning resources for school students and teachers, introducing them to design, collaborative ideation, and enhanced STEM education through design. Apart from it, she's a proud mother, a proud dog lover, and a human lover. So, on that note, ma'am, all yours. We are looking forward to a very exciting session. And I would once again request all the teachers and students, if you can, we would be really in depth you if you can turn on your camera so that we can see happy faces, smiling faces, and we can make it a much more interactive session. Mics, I will request you to please be on mute. I will give you access to speak when it's your turn to speak. All yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Samandan. Thank you very much. And I can see little faces, just teachers, but also students
Anisha,
hopping.
excuse me, I'm not
Yes,
able to write anything in the chat.
you're not able to.
Write anything in the chat.
Uh, Samandan, can you please help Disha ma'am? She's
Uh,
unable to
Ri-
write anything in the chat.
yeah, I'm Richa Dureja from Nehru World School, Ghaziabad, and I'm not able to write anything in the chat, ma'am.
Yeah,
Um, okay. Ma'am, we are checking that, but in the meantime, please check if you're able to access the Q&A because I think more
Let me just
Q.
check.
otherwise, Disha
Uh,
ma'am, if there is something which is very urgent or necessary, you can raise your hand and we will take a note because we are able to very
Yes.
clearly hear.
sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you
Yes,
very
I'm
much.
able to ask a question. Yes, I'm able to type there. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, we will request you to be on mute because we want Anisha ma'am to speak and she'll give everybody an opportunity to talk. That's when we'll unmute you.
So, Samandan, may I start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, very good evening to everyone. I'm sure you've had a very long day at school, and really, really appreciate taking you guys taking out time for this session, because it's not a regular science session. It is a design session, and unfortunately, in our school system, still design is something which is understood, probably something which is related to art or craft, or something which is not yet a part of our Indian education system completely. With the NEP 2020, we do have suggestions, recommendations as to how we can implement and include STEAM education, design-based STEM education into our schools. But still, I think we have a very long way ahead. We have a very, very long journey where we will be able to see each and every child coming to a classroom where it is not just science or engineering taught, but it is a little bit of a mix of social science, humanities, and design, aesthetics, and technical knowledge coming all together in the classroom. And that is the day we will feel that, yes, we have achieved something very, very proudly. We will be able to say that. So I first of all would like to thank Macmillan and Sumandan, of course, because he's the one who has planned everything, who figured out that, okay, this should be the series, and we have to give input in these particular areas to our teachers and particularly to the students. So I'm very, very, very thankful for this opportunity, and I hope you enjoy this session. We will have a Q&A session after the talk. But if you have something very, if you have a question, doubt, clarification in between, please write it in the chat. We'll be able to see that. And maybe if there is enough time, we will be able to interact with them also. So I will just share my screen. Please let me know if you're able to see the screen. Are you able to
It's
see the screen?
yes, ma'am. It's visible, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. So today's topic is design thinking for education. And interestingly, I have been working in this area for probably more than a decade now, because my PhD and my postdoctoral research both look into design thinking at school education. Again, like I said, design education is not something which is still included as part of the curriculum in Indian education system. So it has been quite a journey to understand teachers' perspectives, students' perspectives and needs, and also to understand something which exists at the undergraduate level. One, why should it be taught to children? And secondly, if it has to be taught to children, do we just minimize things, make it simpler to understand and deliver it to children, or do we need to make actual changes which are student friendly and then make children participate in design thinking sessions? So again, I think I would like to. Uh, Screen is not working. Huh. So I would like to welcome all the teachers and the lovely students to this session. Uh, I would like to just start by asking, you must have heard these two terminologies, creative thinking and design thinking, especially children, the students who are with us today. Can anybody tell, are they synonymous, or is there a difference between these two words? Maybe they can unmute.
There's a difference between the two.
Yes, ma'am, if we would like to elaborate a little. How are they different? I think there was somebody who was raising their hand, Krishna. I'm not able to read the chat box because my screen is full screen.
Ma'am, may I say something?
Yes, yes, please.
Ma'am, I believe that creative thinking is thinking the ability to generate ideas
which are useful ideas, looking for solutions. Whereas design thinking is there is a pattern, there is a way how it should be done stepwise.
So
Both
there is a
are
process, you're
consisting
saying.
on
There
this.
are
Yeah.
stages. There are stages, and in creative thinking, you think that probably stages are not necessary.
Yes,
Okay, that's a
that is
great
what I
answer.
feel, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Anybody else who would like to give it a try? You can just unmute and
Could I answer?
yes, 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 please.
Yeah. So I think creative thinking has a much more flexible approach, while design thinking has it's not that flexible, and it's much more you have to go through a particular process. Or
Mhm.
I mean that's what I understand. I could be wrong or the
Okay,
same.
so you
Yeah.
think there is more
Um,
flexibility in
s-
creative thinking?
Sorry
Okay,
to interrupt, Anisha ma'am.
yeah.
Janardhan, lovely answer, but could you turn on your camera if it is okay? We would want to see you when you speak so that we can make it more interactive for you.
Unfortunately, I will not be
Sure.
able to see you.
Yeah, yeah. Can you give me 2 minutes? I'm just there's something going on in my background. Just 2 minutes. Will that be okay?
No problem. Till then, we can take another response.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ma'am, what I understand, creative thing. This is Shamita. May I answer?
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am, this is Shamita from JSS Private School, Dubai. But I, and though we, since we follow design thinking, where see, creative thinking is where children are using their creativity, they are generating ideas. Whereas design thinking is something where children are, it is more diverse, wherein different subjects are also integrated, wherein children are identifying a problem, they are investigating, they're ideating, they're researching on it, they're finding the pattern, and they are coming up with a solution. And while finding a solution to it, there is an interdisciplinary concept involved in it. And finally, they are giving a shape to their idea,
Hmm.
and which is finally solving a problem.
Excellent. I think you've covered a lot of it that I'm going to talk about today in a very short, crisp manner. So thank you very much for making my job easy. Any other thoughts? I think some students, maybe we can take some thoughts.
Yeah, can I add a point? I
Yes.
am actually Janardhan. Um, so what I thinking is design thinking focus more on solving problems critically thinking, whereas creative thinking enables you to use your imagination to solve a given problem. As others have already pointed out, design thinking is a more rigorous process, whereas creative thinking it gives you a flexible options between choices. So it's not like something which is I mean, it's like you use your imagination mainly in creative thinking.
Right. Great. I think great responses. If there is anybody, one more response maybe we can take if you have something absolutely different to say, if what we have not covered so far. Uh, is there anyone? We can
I'm
take one more
Aska. Could I
response.
answer? Hello. My name is Aska. Could I answer?
Yes, please.
What I think is that creative thinking usually lets you go beyond imagination. So it's often not in a proper structure. So there's not often a plan that you need to follow such in certain way. Whereas design thinking, you'll have to follow certain steps, and in design thinking, you'll be emphasizing with other people or understanding what people want.
Hmm. Okay, great. So I think overall there seems to be a consensus that design thinking is something which is way more structured as compared to creative thinking. But creative thinking is more imaginative, is more open-ended, and may not always have a problem per se to solve, which is absolutely right. So creative thinking, when we think of creative people, anybody and everybody in this world is creative. If you are reading a book and you suddenly get a call from your mom that okay, dinner is ready, come eat dinner, you will suddenly, you will look for a bookmark and you're not able to find a bookmark, you just fold the paper. You'll keep a thread, you will keep something, whatever is there in and around you, a pair of keys. Okay, something that you will just use as a replacement for a bookmark, and that is creative thinking, but not necessarily that is design thinking. So design thinking, like we have rightly understood, is far more elaborate, but that doesn't mean that we don't imagine in design thinking. It is not so rigid as I think maybe a few of us think that it is a rigid process which we need to follow and then we need to go ahead and solve the particular problem. We'll try and understand this a little better. I see a lot of hands being raised. Should I continue or do we have, like, does anybody want to add something here? So I think I'll continue if there is no response to this particular comment. Is anybody trying to speak? Please unmute your mic if you can. Okay. So let's try and understand it in even slightly better way. If we have to define what design thinking means, design thinking is a process of coming up with set of meaningful ideas. So these are not just imaginary ideas, say how we see it in art, or if somebody is trying to make a beautiful rangoli, or somebody is trying to make a new recipe. It may or may not be something which is serving the others in terms of understanding the others. So it is a process of coming up with set of meaningful ideas to solve a real world problem. And most importantly, it is for a particular group of people. So there it is becoming very much important to understand if creativity is something which is related to. So this is one of the most common responses that we get when we ask what is design. Most of the audiences, a lot of people will say design is art, it's aesthetic, making things look beautiful. All of that is true, but that is not the only thing that design offers. It has a lot of critical thinking, like we already heard from our friends here. It has a lot of understanding of the situation, which we call in the design language, we call it the context. We understand any particular situation in that particular context. Okay, so it is always for a particular group of people and not for myself. So design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation. That is why it makes it so different from, say, other disciplines which may or may not be solving a particular problem for a particular set of people. You may be trying to, just experiment with new technology, but need not be playing around with technology to create something which will aid the other or which will improve the quality of the other person. You are just excited to see, okay, this is the technology that I have in my hand, and I would like to play around with it, explore, tinker with it, and then see what I can make. Whereas on the other hand, design thinking always has this at the back of our mind, that it is a human-centered approach to innovation. And the best thing when it comes to education is what we have seen over the years is that it motivates all types of learners and it involves different skill sets. So it is not something that if I am good at mathematics, I will be great at everything. If I am good at, say, some tinkering aspect, but I cannot communicate, design has a place for you. So we have design gives you multiple ways of communication, multiple platforms to communicate, not just verbal, but also non-verbal. It is iterative and flexible. Like in the few responses, I was trying to understand, and somehow, there was an inclination towards the design is a little rigid. It may look rigid because of the stage process, which I am going to share with you, but it is iterative. So it is cyclical. It doesn't go in a linear fashion that you have to cross each and every stage and then say hence growth. It doesn't, it is not formula based. It does have these stages, or I would say it has these processes that you have to be a part of as a designer and then try and solve a problem. So it is definitely flexible. It is multidisciplinary, like our one of the teachers rightly mentioned, that it involves understanding from different subjects, subject experts, and skill sets also. And hence it encourages collaboration. But most importantly, as designers, what we have been trained, like what I have been trained when I was a student at National Institute of Design, is design seeks novelty. It's not enough to solve a problem. There will be a lot of people who will be able to go through the entire process, equally solve the problem following each and every stage, but maybe they will not come up with a creative, novel solution. As a designer, it is essential for us to create something which is not seen. That is why the term out of the box is very commonly used in design thinking lectures and classrooms. So we do seek novelty, multiplicity, solutions, and creativity. So it is not a hence proof sort of a problem. For example, if we see the evolution of toothbrushes, this is a little thing. If we see the evolution of toothbrushes, we see that how far we have come from just using tree bark, bones, toothpicks to manual brushes and electric brushes. And there is a new kind of a brush sounding tool, which is based on ultrasound techniques and technology. But it is important for us to understand that this is not just a material change. It is the form, it is the ergonomics. Today, when you go out to buy a toothbrush, such a simple product, an everyday product, if you go and buy, there are so many options. And each and every one, depending on their needs and depending on their affordability also, can figure out which toothbrush fits best for me. Maybe it is a finger brush for a baby, a slightly more ergonomic and softer brush for people who have less hand control, or maybe an electric brush for people who have different types of needs. So the main idea behind design then becomes to improve the quality of life. It is adding capabilities to human beings. If you come to think of it, any product that has been designed, it is an extension of ourselves. For example, in every household, I think at least Indian household, when we make chapati, roti banate hain, so we have a chimta, right? We have a tong. So when we use the tong is an extension of the hand, right? So it is to improve the quality of life because if I use my hand, I'm going to burn my hand. There is some disturbance in the sense. If you can please mute yourself. Thank you. Okay. So design improves quality of life and it makes technology user friendly. So like I was talking about, engineering focuses more on the technological aspect, how you can use sensors, motion sensors, how you can use different kinds of digital connectors. May I request you to please mute yourself? Thank you. So when design comes into and plays a big hand in whenever technology is being used, then we work together with technology, we humanize technology. So it is not just enough to make an aircraft and put a lot of buttons in. You have to probably color code the buttons. You have to place it in the way how the person in the aircraft is sitting, how the pilot is sitting, where the hand movements are easy, where the emergency button should be. You have to think in that context. Hence, it humanizes technology. And also, design thinking is connecting ideas to create something new and useful is something that I have already talked about. But now let's ask. So if there is so much going into design thinking and making good designs, making designs and products, are all designs good designs? What do you think? Can anybody say, are all designs good designs?
No,
Can you give
that
me an example?
not all designs can be good because some of them might be an inconvenience to the people. Uh,
Can you
so
think
it's
of
not
an
necessary
example?
for all of them to be, like good or comfortable or accommodating for the people. But yeah, so I think that answers the question, I believe.
That's perfectly fine, but can you give me an example, please, of a bad design? Can you think of
Could
an
you
example?
repeat?
Can you think of an
Uh,
example which is not a good design?
Anisha ma'am,
so,
is sorry, is it possible for you to speak a little louder and closer to the mic? There's the voice is a little faint, so
Okay, can you hear me now?
loud and clear, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm asking
yes.
that
So
if
it
you've
could.
given the answer correctly, but can you give me an example? Can you share an example of a bad design?
So I might give a silly answer, but it probably we could start with stickers. So like many people, they use stickers, decorate their laptop, And then when they like people like me, if we are playing games, our hands get sweaty, and a lot of time the sweat, the or sometimes we spill water, and then what happens, the stickers get ruined. So I think that could probably be a possible answer. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Excellent. Please don't think it is silly. I think it is one of the best answers I have ever got to this question. So thank you very much for sharing this because it is something which is so contextual to you. Uh, which grade are you in, if I may ask?
Right now, after the summer vacation, I'm going to be in ninth.
Ninth. Oh, okay. Excellent. I think stickers is a
Yeah.
great example to share with. And
Excuse
not
me?
just stickers on the laptop, but stickers which are there, like when you buy new utensils. It is a pain to remove those stickers, right?
Yeah.
Somebody said, excuse me.
Yeah, me. I'm
Yes.
Rudra.
Yes, Rudra.
Can I give another example?
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna give a really niche example. The Apple Magic Mouse.
Hmm.
So it's a mouse designed by Apple, and the issue is that it's not ergonomic enough to be held by a hand, and it's also wireless. So the thing is, it needs to be charged often, but the issue is the port is at the bottom of the mouse, which
Hmm.
makes it unusable during charging.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot again for a fabulous answer. So, Apple, again, as a company, is not meant for Indians. It's a fragile company. Especially what you have said is point on from the design point of view that you cannot charge, you cannot use it when it's charging, the placement of the port, ergonomics, all of that is absolutely amazing. But when it comes to Indian community, we are rough people. Okay, we don't like handling things with a lot of fragility. We don't like things taking good care of, things. We like to be rough. We fill our bags with thousand things, and if you keep an Apple Pencil in that, it is not going to work after 2 days. So excellent example again. Thank you so much, Rupert. We
Yeah,
can
yeah.
take
Can I
the
add a point? Hello.
yes.
Yeah. And I think a bad design actually comes from the fact that you don't understand what the consumers need.
Mm-hmm.
So, one, I mean, one example I've heard of is, so there was a group which so Africa has a lot of water problems. So what they did was, instead of hand pumping water out, kids would actually sit on the merry-go-round and then that would rotate, which would give out water. But then this was actually a very bad design since the merry-go-rounds were not native to Africa, and this basically forced adults to sit on the merry-go-round, waste time, and like keep using the merry-go-round to just get water. They did
Correct.
not focus on the main problem, is access to water. People were
Right.
ready to pump. The main problem was getting the water into the pump.
Hmm.
So, and another example is, so the liquid soap bottles,
Hmm.
it's not very easy to open. So
Hmm.
you have to, I know of many people who actually watch YouTube tutorials just to open it. So another example may be the door. A
Right.
handle is usually meant to pull, but then
Hmm.
sometimes you give indications like push pull, which makes it very confusing for people.
Yes. So I don't know if you've read the book by Don Norman, The Design of Everyday Things. So I think you should read that book if you've been thinking about the door because that's the book all about. So a lot of interesting insights are there in that book.
Could I add one more thing?
Yes,
Yeah, so and it's not necessary for a bad design to be a bad design for everybody, because
absolutely.
it also depends on the preferences. As you said, for Indians, Apple would be not the most go-to buy, but if
Hmm.
you take it as the Europeans could go to the British, you could like the Americans, for them it's a much easier go-to buy, not only because they have the need, they have the want, they have the ability to take it, and also
Hmm.
they're able to manage it. So it
Right.
could be a bad design for us, a good design for them. And there are multiple things. So it depends on who's using it,
Hmm.
and more like who for whom the product is designed. So
Absolutely. But when we design, thank you so much for your answer. And I think it is a very important point because when you will be getting into this, let's say, competition or you will start designing your solutions, it is important for us to understand the socio-cultural context as well. So it is not enough to understand the behaviors of people in a particular context, but also to understand from a socio-cultural point of view that how have they been brought up? What have their situations been like? How have they been told to handle things or objects? So that's an absolutely amazing point. I think I'm having so much fun just listening to these answers. I don't need to talk more in the presentation. I can just listen to them all day. Thank you so much
And
for sharing some
Listening to what
wonderful answers.
you said.
Is anybody trying to say something?
Could I add something to what was said
Yeah,
before?
we can just take one more response. Last.
What I want to say is, as he said, not every design can be a bad design for everyone. So
Hmm.
I wanted to give an example of that. Now,
Hmm.
in most places where you've gone, you go for writing or for a lecture, there are tables with only the right-handed people, and that's
Yes.
not
Yeah. So the
applicable
world
for
has been
everyone.
designed unfair. There is a book by the name Invisible Women. If you are interested in that kind of an understanding of the world, you must read this book called The Invisible Women. To share the same example that how design has been so unfair, you will see the queue outside women bathrooms much longer than men bathrooms. Okay, there is a reason why it is like that. Again, when the coronavirus had hit our uh, planet, uh, the PPEs were designed keeping in mind that it is for men. Hence, a lot of women were diagnosed with COVID because they were not appropriately designed for the women to go there. And most of the caretakers and the nurses are women. So there have been definitely such examples. So thanks a lot for for sharing a very different perspective again on this question. But I would like to now ask that most, if I look at the responses and try and understand all the responses, 100% responses, I think, are from product design. So I think you would know probably there are different types of design. One is called industrial design, which are related to products, where we look at ergonomics, we look at materials, we look at durability, all of that. And there is another uh, domain of design, which is very, 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 very important, which is graphic design. So I would like to share one example with you of graphic design, and I would like to understand whether it is a good design or a bad design. Can everybody read what is written?
Can I?
Yeah, yeah.
Should
What
I
is
like see
it?
the wrong one first or the correct
Say both.
one? So the wrong one would be Sasa Lele, and then the correct one would be Sail Sail.
Yeah. So is it a good design or a bad design?
It's
Because
a bad
graphically,
design because it can easily be misinterpreted.
but if you look at only the first four blocks and not the second one, the problem is with the design or is it with the placement?
It's with the placement.
Yeah, but the designer did not think that it is going to be placed like this because obviously one sale poster is not enough. You need to place multiple. So it should have been there in the mind of the designer to be able to visualize and understand in the future something like this may happen and it can just give out wrong information, especially in a place like Maharashtra, where we speak in Marathi. Sasa lele means something else. Sasa lele means come take a rabbit. Sasa means rabbit here. Okay. So you have to be very, very mindful as a designer what you're writing, where your designs will go, and how it may be misinterpreted. What
Uh,
about
could I?
this one? What do you think? It's a good design or a bad design?
It's a bad
Yeah,
design.
go ahead. Why?
It's a bad design.
Why?
Because like um people would really not understand this, like what are they trying to tell, like
Hmm.
are they trying to tell the position of the lift, or are they like trying to tell us like these are the buttons? Nobody would really understand it.
So
It would kind of be
symbolically, how
hard.
do I know which one to go up and which one to go down? So is
Like
there a
the
definition?
arrows, yeah, like the arrows are pointing downwards and the other ones are pointing upwards, so I think that would be a guide. But
Yeah, so if I
again,
have to go up, will I press this button or this button?
the one on
How do
top, the
this
one
one?
like, no, yeah, that one, the
But
one
are you
like the
sure?
upward arrow. Yeah,
But are you sure?
I, yeah, I think so.
Okay. Anybody else who
That
wants
may
to
as
add?
well be a
Uh,
LED. that could just be an LED for
Yeah, it
designing.
could just be the graphic design element. It could just be a visual. It may
Yeah.
not even be a button. So the buttonness of a button, how do we know that there is a button here? So there is a concept in design by the name affordance. So anything and everything that we design, we should have an affordance for it to, like, for example, I think one of my friends here talked about the door, the push and the pull. So the door, I mean, the ideal door will have an affordance, whether I need to pull this door or push this door. So similarly, you need to understand whether it's just a visual element or it is a button. And even if it is, I'm sure 100% people will not be able to make this association, the left to right one or the top bottom one. Same is the case with this, where you see this in hotel rooms. And if I have to go to room number 215, I don't know whether I should go here on the left or on the right, because the association again is not very clear. And if you ever get time to understand the Gestalt laws in visual communication, uh, it is a little misleading because we don't know which one is a better or a stronger association. Okay. Uh, in terms of head design, I think this is fairly universal and also good design. Also, when we were talking about, something which may work in one part of the world may not work in the other part of the world, it is true. But there are some designs which are minimal, simple, and universal. For example, the veg non-veg symbol. Everybody has just learned. It was one time learning that you understand green means veg, the red means non-veg. Okay. Similarly, I think what UPI has done, just scan and pay. It's become so simple. The best use of technology, I would say, that you are able to just scan things. It is so user friendly that anybody and everybody who is not even literate will be able to use that system. Okay. So again, emphasizing that design is human centric, design thinking is human centric, and we look at problems in the real world. So when you will be designing, uh, it's good to think about worldwide problems like water is a problem, rainwater harvesting is a problem, but something which is very very contextual to, like what our friend said, that stickers, something that kids love, but so not user friendly. Okay, so you have to look at real world examples of problems, but also make it contextual. That I think is a very win-win situation, and that is where novelty and uniqueness in your solutions will also come. But again, to think of it, then are all problems design problems? For example, a man going bald, is this a design problem? It is a problem, but is it a design problem? Do
No,
we really need to find out that, okay, if this man is going bald, I should find a solution for it?
no.
No, no.
Because it's like a normal. As you age, it happens. It's a
No,
normal
it's
phenomenon.
genetics. That is why it happens. It's not age. I mean, it is genetics also. So
It is a medical problem.
it may be a medical. So all problems are not design problems. So that is also something which is very important for us to understand. Some may be medical problems, some may be social problems, some may be psychological problems. So in the real world also, when you go out and observe the world to find out what should I work on, don't try and treat everything as a design problem. Be very mindful again. For example, two friends who are just got into a fight and not talking to each other, I need not really put in my design thinking to solve this problem. They should probably just sit together, have maybe some sweet, cake, or play with some interesting toys and not figure things out. So it is not a design problem. So again, you have to be very mindful of understanding what should I be working on. So coming after saying that, I think it's very okay for me to say that design is a function of local needs and context. I'll share an example with you. This is something which I think most of us probably have seen it at least once in our life. Daily wage workers who carry loads of weight every day, and they seem to be comfortable doing things. Probably we think that it's just the heat, but it's not just the heat. Their body postures, their health issues, and different ways of carrying. Like this little girl on the left has put all the weight on the head. And here, all the men have put everything, the burden is coming on one shoulder. Okay. So there are different ways that we have observed load carriers carry the load. So what can we do about it? This is a very relevant real world design problem. Okay. So I'll share one of the design solutions uh, which has been out by Professor Vikram Panchal. He's the principal designer of this particular innovation that he came out with just simple material like bamboo and considered that how can load bearing be reduced, and also looking at the comfort of people and how in as per his research he observed that how different people were carrying weights differently. So for example, the same device can be used with reducing the load on the head. Okay, it is not even touching the head. All the padding, because of the padding, the weight carrying has come on the shoulder and it's become really easy. For sacks, again, there is a backpack-like system, and for other bricks like carrying or coolies, they can just use it like a trolley. So one idea solves three different problems. Okay. Now we come to the main topic. Why are we talking about all of this? We are all into education. We are teachers, students. We are not design professionals. Then, do we look at, do we have design ever in education in our curriculum? I said in the morning, like morning, at the starting of the session, we don't. But I'm wrong. It is not as part of, we don't have a subject on design, but we do see evidences, we do see instances of design thinking in education. I'll just share a few examples. The ones who are from the CBSE board, Central Board, they will be able to probably recognize some of these examples because these are examples from the school textbook, uh, where they had to design to develop skills of observation, research, data collection, material technical knowledge, sorting, categorization, also drawing, visual thinking, model making, which we call prototyping, discussion, and group work. I don't know if anybody who has seen this in grade 5, this is from grade 5, chapter 6. It is about different types of pots that you have seen at your place, and also interestingly, how the water is coming out from these different openings. So the task is to go out and look for these different types of pots and then try and understand the differences in terms of material, capacity, ergonomics, all of that. This is a visual thinking exercise, very simple thing to teach about profession, but visually making it like, what's the difference sort of a thing, or you have been able to make a very interesting visual thinking exercise for grade 5 children. There are examples such as making sketches of two stages in the life history of silk moth, or you see the life cycle of the butterfly, or where observation drawings is being developed. We look at, visits to maybe museums or fruit markets where they have to go and see different vegetables and fruits and then come back with drawings and life sketches to get better understanding of their field visits. It's not just writing, it is getting into observation-based drawing. Okay. This is another example on observation drawing coloring form, where kids are supposed to go out, look at different types of shrubs, trees, make different lists of plants, and look at probably the leaves, how they're flowering, are they flowering in this season or not. So you're using design skills, your observation skills to get a better understanding of the world around you. And also interestingly, we saw an example in grade 7 book where they had to uh, create a logo depicting water scarcity. So I was very happy to see this example in the NCRT textbook. There is also prototyping engineering like exercises. I will not read too much into it because I think we have 15 minutes left. But this is something which is again taken from the textbooks, which include a bit of making material, understanding of the material, and making things fun as well. This is a hardcore design problem where people are asked to imagine how it is to take care of the older people, or if you're making a vehicle for children, will it same or will it be different? So having a good understanding of the users, of the people who are going to be using your product, this is also something which I was very excited at. because it looks at so many different skills like empathy, asking, ideation, prototyping, all of that together. And at the end of it, it also asks you to make a poster. So if all these activities are actually done in our school systems, I think we will be so much better in terms of design thinking. So it's easy to say that design thinking is collaboration. One person cannot sit and design all that per se. You have to take the expertise of the others. You have to understand your users. And now, how we design as designers, we use participatory methods where we include the users who are going to be using our product in the design process. And design thinking is obviously full of many, many solutions. So now we come to the much talked about design thinking process, where we think that it is a rigid process or it is something which is staged, and we need to go through each and every stage. For the ones who are unaware of this process, I would like to share that there are 5 main stages of the design process. First is empathy, where we empathize with the people whom we are making our designs for. We try and understand whether they like, say, reading bold fonts, whether they like reading well spaced out fonts or not, whether they like bright colors or not. We try and understand just going out, observing, and understanding what are the behaviors, what are the pain points, what is it that doesn't work in their favor, when do they get frustrated. So this is our first stage of research, where we go on the field and understand our users. And then we come back and try and define the problem. Because when you go out in the field, you'll see many different things. You'll see so many different types of behaviors, especially when you're going out in a group. Different people will observe different things. Then you have to come back as a group, have a discussion, and prioritize which one seems to be most urgent or immediate, or something that I am really driven towards, or something that practically I think I can make it and deliver probably in a month. So that needs to be defined very well, which we call as a design brief. This is a very difficult task, but a very important one. Then we get into the stage of ideation, where we ideate, we think of solutions, we think that if this is the problem, how can we solve it? And then I try and make it, okay, which is called prototyping. And it's not enough to just make products, either digital or physical products. You have to go and test it with your users. You have to understand whether whatever I'm thinking. So when I teach my students here, many times the students will probably feel it's a fantastic idea. The children are going to love this game. But the moment they take the game to the children, they're not even able to read the rules. They're not even able to hold the pen. So those things will come out, will become obvious only when you take it out for testing. So this is again just a little bit more about just reiterating that you learn about your audience, you sharpen your pre-questions, you brainstorm and create solutions, you make representations of more than one idea. Ideally, you should take 2 or more ideas to your users, and then you have to test your ideas using user feedback. So when it comes to now seeing this in a classroom, the overall process, overall contribution of the student becomes the responsibility of the teacher. Okay? The teacher has to ensure there is collaboration, there is communication, there is enough motivation for each and every child to participate and to contribute in whatever format they have. Somebody may say that whatever I'm saying is foolish. It is not something what the others are saying. Others are using very fancy words. But it is the responsibility of the teacher to be able to facilitate that kind of an environment where every child gets an opportunity, an equal opportunity to contribute as per their skill set. Okay. And they obviously have to explore. They cannot just straight away follow a linear path and say that, okay, I have found the solution, I know the technology, and hence this is what I want to do. So it is the teacher's responsibility to keep pushing them to empathize, to collaborate, to think more and more, to understand it in depth, okay? And also help each other. But it is not always just the teacher's responsibility. As a student, you have to do your research. You have to go and talk to the people you're designing for. You have to be empathetic. You cannot go out there and judge people with your own biases. You cannot go and say that, oh, ये तो इसको बैठना भी नहीं आता है, देखो कैसे जमीन पे बैठ जाता है. There is probably a reason why that person is sitting on the floor and not on, the public spaces where we are giving public benches to sit. So you need to talk to people, understand their needs, behaviors, problems, desires. This is the student's responsibility. The teacher is only a guide who is going to facilitate. And after that, when you come back, the students need to sketch. They need to sketch ideas. Don't jump into prototyping directly. First sketch your ideas, and then make your ideas come into life. Okay. So first designing and sketching, multiple ideas at that stage. You make a few, then you go and evaluate those ideas, and it comes back. So it is an iterative process. Users are going to give you feedback. They will say, no, 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 it is not comfortable. It is good to sit for a minute, but after 10 minutes, I feel that it is not a comfortable seat. You come back to the making stage, you come back to the designing stage, and then this is a cyclic process until your users are satisfied with your inner. And again, I would like to emphasize you have to create something unique. Nothing that something what I have seen before or something that is readily available on the internet. I am not here to replicate. You are the future generation. You are going to tell us how the world should look like. How should we live in the future? That's all your responsibility to create something unique. And to create something unique, I actually have a very short exercise when we say designing for innovation. This is a very short exercise which I think maybe we can do. We'll think of a particular object and we'll think of another object. I'll give you those two objects because the time is less. We'll try and combine these two objects and understand what new product or new thing object can I think of. Okay, I will share the object and maybe you can unmute and say what can you think of. Okay. The first one and the second one, you're able to see there is a hand fan and there is a window. Yes, Krishan Kumar, I think, has raised their hand.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I saw this, and it could be something like, like the windows, instead of
Hmm.
having the traditional, like the one with the hinges, why
Hmm.
don't we have it like it recedes just like the hand fan, and
Mm-hmm.
like instead of having the normal thing, like the normal
Yep.
hinge door hinges. So I think
Okay.
it will be something like that.
This you have seen on the internet.
Yes.
Okay. You've seen this on the internet.
No, I'm not seeing this on the internet. It
You
just
only
popped into
said
my mind.
you
No,
only
I'm
said
not.
I've seen this. Okay. Anybody else who has a different idea? Samarth, I can see your hand up.
So like how in the behind of like the behind the air conditioners,
Huh.
how they small like threads they
Hmm.
actually it is used to suck in the air with
Hmm.
easily aerodynamically more.
Hmm.
So just like that, uh, if such grills, if not to that extent,
Hmm.
at least with such design, if they're added, then the air circulation inside and outside will be uh, better. The air
Okay.
circulation because of the aerodynamic design.
Excellent. I think it's an excellent thought. How just by changing this, probably the energy can also be saved. Okay. Any other responses?
Maybe like we can use the window,
Mm-hmm.
like which has very lightweight material. We can make it like somewhere we can move it easily so that it acts as a fan. Maybe
The window acts as a fan.
yes, maybe
Oh, that's
we
cool.
can
Okay.
make it like that.
All right. So everybody's touching the window. Nobody's talking about the fan. It's interesting. Everybody wants to design the windows, but I like the second idea. I think it was a combination of both the properties of both and putting it into a third object. Okay. So I think we already had some the first answer that we had. I wanted to actually show this to you because it is something which is in uh, reality. There is an Argentinian architect who actually conceptualized these windows in Argentina based on these concepts of how we are getting into these tall high rises and we don't get to see the exterior. We don't have balconies anymore. So it's just sort of you get a little bit of an outer space into your house. So I thought it was wonderful to see how these two simple objects came together to create something so amazing.
Could I mention something? I What I meant to say was not this. I meant to say that
Mm,
instead of it coming outside the window, I was like, instead of having the normal simple door and hinges, like
mm,
so we can just use it like we can like place it vertically like this, and then like we
mm.
can just at any time we can pull it to the other side,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that's what I
So
tried
you're
to
talking
say.
about the mechanism of the window instead of just the door pulling out and in. You are saying that it may use the fan the property.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Okay.
say. I was
Yeah.
not.
Okay. So
Yeah,
okay. So I don't know whether this surprises you then. Does this solution, this design surprise you?
sort of. Yeah.
Sort of. Okay. So yeah, so this is something that the teachers can very easily do. And this is called disruptive thinking when you give two objects not at all connected to each other and you ask the students to think of a new object by combining the two. It is very, very, very useful in a classroom. So you must do these exercises with children on disruptive thinking so that they're able to come up with better and unique solutions. Okay. So just to summarize this particular presentation, I think these are our takeaway words that we need to observe, we need to empathize, we need to look at real world contextual problems and then get into ideation, not jump into ideation right away. We need to create and prototype and then equally important to test it with the people whom we are designing for. And most importantly, it is very important to innovate, to not make something which is seen, which is known. You have to make something which is out of the box completely. Okay. Thank you very much. I think I'm in time. I have one more case study to share maybe after the questions. If you have any questions, also, Manjan, how do we go about it?
Ma'am, we can do either. So we can either share the video and then open for questions, or I think let's do that. Then it'll be a flow. Otherwise, if you open for questions, it'll be difficult to come back to the video.
Okay, so shall I show the video?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. So I hope you guys, all of you, do not mind me taking just 5 or 10 more minutes. Is
No,
it
ma'am, not
okay?
at all.
Okay. Thank you.
If anything, we would
Very
actually
sweet,
beg you
Anisha.
for a bit more time.
How sweet you are. I wish this was an offline session. I could have seen you guys and just spend more time with you. Okay. So I'll tell
On
you
that
this.
note, I will request everybody please turn on your cameras. I've been requesting because Anisha ma'am really would want to see you. You know, your smiles would encourage us to have more sessions like this. So if you can, please turn on your cameras.
Um, have I shared screen? Can you see my screen?
No, no, ma'am.
Okay, wait, I will just try. Share my screen. Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am. We can see the PPT, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll just make it. This I think team ka thing is popping up, and I'm not able to do slideshow. Yeah, can you see it now?
The PPT, yes, we can see the PPT, ma'am.
Full screen.
Full screen. Trace the waist. We can see that. Yes.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead. Okay, so this is just a case study of, because see, I am not just a teacher. There is, as once a designer, always a designer. You have to design. Okay, you cannot just teach. So this is one of the recent things that we worked on. It's an educational game on waste management for children, and we have found out that adults also equally enjoy playing this game and learn a lot from this game. This is a game which we worked on for more than 2 years, and it's out now. It is you can buy this game and you can play this game with your friends and in classrooms. This has been designed by the three of us. This is me, Anisha, Amrita, and Aditi. And the game, the idea, the seed of the game, I think came out with a very simple question. All three of us were very, very curious to know what happens to something when we throw our waste. Okay, when we throw anything, where does it go? So We have learned that waste segregation hota hai. Blue dabba, green dabba. We have to throw waste and all that. But even if it cannot be so simple, it cannot be. Then why are our landfills still so huge? So this is the very simple seed of this particular field. I will, I think, show you a very quick video, and maybe you can understand it through that.
Every year, the world
You can hear?
Every year, the world generates over 2 billion tons of waste. Landfills are overflowing, and waste management systems are struggling to keep up. This escalating crisis not only harms our environment, but also impacts our health and quality of life. Cities in India are no different. With increasing development, cities have become hubs of waste generation. Landfills are filling up faster than ever, and managing this waste has become a critical challenge. This issue is directly linked to UN Sustainable Development Goals 11 and 12. Proper waste management is essential for a sustainable future, and it's clear that we need urgent action. World over, people are now getting more aware about the importance of this issue. Raising awareness about waste management is key to solving this problem. It's crucial to address the younger generation, who will inherit the responsibility of managing waste and protecting our planet. And that's why we are doing our part to help build awareness through an innovative educational game called Trace the Waste. Trace the Waste is an engaging educational board game that invites both children and adults to explore the world of domestic waste management. The game aims to raise awareness about the realistic challenges associated with waste management and consumerism, as well as the impact of everyday choices on the environment. Through interactive gameplay, players explore eco-friendly practices of composting, reusing, refusing, and recycling. This versatile tool is ideal for both home and school environments, fitting seamlessly into formal and informal settings for children and adults alike. It is also an invaluable resource for educators and sustainability professionals. The game includes an FAQ to explain the rationale behind key moves and a teacher handout with prompts to foster discussions on waste management. Addressing the socio-cultural issues surrounding waste management is crucial for a comprehensive understanding of the problem. Trace the Waste aims to inspire a new generation of environmentally conscious individuals. Our goal is to foster a deeper understanding of waste issues and empower players to take meaningful actions in their communities. Join us in making a difference. With awareness and action, we can tackle the waste crisis and move towards a more sustainable future. Discover Trace the Waste and be part of the change.
So this is, I mean, I have an entire presentation on this, but I don't think we have the time. But this is something that's very, very close to my heart. Yeah, so I think maybe we can take some questions from students, especially. Can we please do what?
So I had a quick doubt. So I think the Sasa Lele you showed us the Levi's sale thing, right?
Right.
So it looked like Sasa Lele if we don't look at it like. So if I imagine myself as an absent-minded buyer, shopper, I go there, I see, oh, Sasa Lele, what could that mean? So I go there, and I'm like, oh, it means sale. But damn, there's a 50% discount. So I might go into the store and it might like just succeed as a design. If you look at it in that way.
Uh, I mean, so you're saying that it is a marketing gimmick that you just call people in and then you increase your sales. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I was a managerial person, I would have said yes. But if I'm I'm a trained designer, I will say it is a bad design. So I'm not thinking as a manager. I'm not looking at the sales going up. My design and responsibility as a graphic designer ends at legibility. Okay? That is where the I think marketing people start their job. They will probably try to fix you. So if you are aware of, there is something called as dark patterns. If you're not aware, read stuff. I think you'll enjoy reading about that. Okay, so there is something by the name dark pattern. You're on mute,
I
Krishna.
was not able to hear you. Could you repeat it once?
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
So, were you able to hear till the point I said that as responsibility as a graphic designer is legibility and
Yeah,
understanding?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was talking to, so when you say that, okay, we can probably call people in and sell things, it is called dark pattern, which is majorly used in softwares, applications now. Why suddenly all of us are into quick commerce? Everybody has just, started ordering on Zepto, Blinkit, everything because they
Yeah.
make us order. It is not that I have a need to order. They keep telling me if you buy this and if you buy that, this much percentage is off. Or they will say, oh, it's been so many days, I've been missing you. Why haven't you ordered this? Right. And especially you
Yeah.
guys are way too young to talk about this, but uh, there are people who are addicted to abusive stuff, probably cigarettes or something. So these kind of applications and dark patterns can make you even more addictive because you see there is, definitely it's affordable. It is something which it gives me medals and badges for all the time I shop. So this is something which is called as dark patterns. I think you'd enjoy reading about it and knowing more about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for your question, Patricia. Anybody else?
Can I ask something?
Yes, Samar.
Okay,
No, it's
so
not
honest
Samar. I
question.
think it's Nita. Nita?
No, I'm Rudra speaking.
Rudra. Okay.
Okay, so honest question, where could we buy the game?
Oh, okay. I can post the link here. We can definitely. I actually stopped the video there. You could have just scanned the QR code. You can buy the game. I'll share it to Sumanjan. Will it be possible if you can share it with them? Yeah.
Of course, ma'am. Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Anybody else?
One more thing. So like you made it trace the waste, so like the waste management, like the waste management problems, they're absolutely huge, humongous. They're different all over India. Like there's a crisis all in all these places, but they're in different fields, or in a different way in the same field. So like how did you like manage to like sum up all of these? I mean, it would have been hard, I know that, but how do you manage to do it?
It is
Because
hard.
like,
It is again all what I talked about. It is dedication, being honest to your research. If your research is good, half the battle is won. You know what you want to focus on. You know what you want to prioritize. You will be able to see the research gap very clearly. And again, it is a collaborative effort. It's not just me who made this game. The three of us together, we brought in different expertise.
hmm,
Aditi, for example, has a background in zoology, and she
hmm,
is into bird watching. She is into waste management, composting. Even I am. Okay, so both of us are. We will not call ourselves a zero waste consumers, but we are
hmm,
minimal consumers. We do not unnecessarily buy things. For example, so like Sumanjal in the beginning said that I am a proud mother of an 8-year-old girl. So till date, she has not had any ice cream out of a plastic wrapper. So we go to natural, we buy a cone, and we take our ice cream there. We don't produce any
yeah,
waste. If you buy even a paper cone like a cornetto, you still
yeah,
have a plastic film on it.
yeah,
So you go to natural, they will give you a phone, a waffle cone, or whatever fancies my daughter. She likes sparkles and all also nowadays. So so we get all of that and we try to minimize our consumption. That
yeah.
uh,
So like,
in Krishnan, I'm really sorry to interrupt you, but if we have other students also, maybe we can come back to you so that everybody gets an equal opportunity. I know you're very curious and I would love to have a conversation with you. Yeah. Kanchan and Nita Mamta, who says it? Kanchan.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, can we go ahead with Kanchan first? She's been raising her hand for long.
Ma'am, can you please tell how can design thinking be integrated into an organization's culture or workflow?
So that's a different question altogether because I thought we were talking about education today. So already there are some faculty members who are already doing that. We go to banks, we go to corporate organizations, and they do either one-on-one, say, once in a year, sort of a workshop for them, or we do regular sessions with the corporates, with people who are working there, employees over there. So there is system to it. We do bring in design thinking exercises, design thinking sessions in form of, just and the problem with adults and especially people who have a monotonous job at one after one point of time, corporate becomes monotonous. So we have a lot of exercises where we work towards breaking the mental block. Uh, बहुत important हो जाता है वो एक point के बाद because it's not that you are less creative. It's just you're so busy with your life on an everyday basis that your creative juices need a little push. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. We can take another question.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I have a very bad throat. I'm Mamta. Uh, can you
Yes, ma'am.
just repeat about dark patterns? We're just talking about it. Can you just
Yeah, yeah.
re-explain once again?
So dark patterns is something which is we are all a victim of, I would say. Dark patterns is something that designers and people who are in organizations, who are into businesses, they in a way design in a certain way that we are bound to act the way they want us to act. We may not, so आपने देखा होगा when you get like pop-ups, you get two buttons, send, cancel. Okay, many a times the send is highlighted more than the cancel button. Okay, even if I want to cancel, I am attracted towards the send button more because it is sort of inviting me to press on that button. Okay, so many times, so like I think one of Krishnan, I think only said that if you're absent-minded, if you are distracted, there is a good possibility that you will probably just click on that button without willingness, without wanting to do that. Okay, so these are very basic, simple examples of dark patterns. So yeah, we see that every day now in our applications. Our phone is full of them. I hope I was able to answer your question, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dark patterns. Patterns. I think
Excuse me?
somebody just dark pattern. Yeah. So I think somebody has just typed it in
Yeah, me, Rudra.
the chat.
Can I share a resource which is all about dark patterns? Like overall summary of dark patterns?
I think you can share it in the chat box. It will help others.
Yeah, I'll just drop it in the chat box.
Sure. Anything else?
It's really concise. Yep, I dropped the link.
Kuman, do we have more questions?
Ma'am, this can go on. I'm sure uh, but I think let's wrap it up. This has been such a super informative sessions. I will directly address the teachers first. Dear teachers, I hope this was fruitful for you. So when you participate for Macmillan Budding Scientist this year, you know what are the points that we will be evaluating the projects on. So it's a sincere request that when you are guiding your children, your students, please be really conscious about the kind of material that you use for your prototypes, which Anisha ma'am I think touched upon. Uh, the design thinking principles of empathizing with the people who you're developing the solution for, I think makes a very, very critical point that Anisha ma'am spoke about, because if you're making a solution and you do not know what problems the person that you're making the solution is facing, uh, often what happens is you'll make a brilliant solution that you think is brilliant in your mind, but which will fall flat when you actually go out in the market, right? So I think these are a few points we will be incorporating in our evaluation criteria as well, and that is one of the reasons that why we started off with this session in the series of webinars that we have in place.
Honestly,
For
I
the
was very
students,
nervous. That is what I said. There was Comandan that you're putting a designer into a science competition. I was very, very nervous before the session, but I think it was a great opportunity for me just to listen to these kids. It's been so wonderful just to hear these ideas, thoughts, how wonderful you guys are. It's absolutely my pleasure.
Thank
and
you.
now to the students, you're my favorite. I mean, those who have interacted with me physically during the Macmillan Budding Science events, you would know that how much I adore you guys. All I would say is that please continue being curious. The more you ask questions, the more you know. I'm already a big fan of Christian. I mean, the questions that he was asking, the maturity that he showed. Wow, I wish we could have a separate session with just Christian talking. But it's an example for the rest of you. Please ask questions, because it's not necessary that you will find answers to everything that you ask for, but you will definitely not find an answer to a question that you do not ask for. So take your chances, ask questions, try experimenting. You never know, you might just stumble upon the next big thing, right? And on that note, what I will do is I will share a little link on the chat box. This is primarily for those who wanted, you were very, very curious that if this session will have a certificate or not. It definitely does. All you need to do is click on this link and enter your details. As soon as you enter your details, you will be able to download your certificates. Now, bear in mind that this link is IP tracked, so one person per device can only issue a certificate. So please do not share this link outside. Otherwise, what will happen is you will lose out on your certificate as well. Right? Here's the link. I hope you've received it. Click on it. Go there. Type in your details. Download your certificate, and we will share the information for the next webinar soon. Till then, stay curious, stay energetic, and Krishan, thank you so much.
I think all of them. It's just I think probably
All of
Christian
them.
was able to
Krishan,
talk to us a lot, but I could see a
yes,
lot of faces with their gestures.
Aliza
I was
also. There was a little girl called
I
Aliza. She asked brilliant question, and she was one. I was very grateful to her because I think she was one of the first persons, ma'am, who turned on the cameras. She ensured that this session became interactive. I cannot see her anymore. I am hoping she's still
a lot
around.
of people left.
With the
it
rest
should
of you,
really
thank you so much.
yeah, it should really be me and the others who should be thanking you guys, because like I just love this session, It was good. It was crazy good. Thanks all.
Thank you, Krishan. Thank you so much. Thank you, each and every one. Thank you, Samantan, again for giving me this opportunity.
Our
I'm
pleasure,
glad
ma'am.
that everybody is leaving with a smiling face. Nobody is sad and bored and sleepy. So that was my worry. So everyone, I can see that everybody is smiling. So that's the best thing that can happen. All right.
Thank you so much, everybody. Bye. Take care. Be
Bye bye.
curious.
Thank you. They're asking where is the link.
It's in the chat box. I've sent the link on the chat box.
Thanks a lot. Again, thanks a lot. I'm grateful to you guys. Thanks a lot for this session. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Bye.